Alright guys, today we're going to make a key or any other item unlock a door or do something else, but in short, this is pretty much the video is going to be making a key unlock a door. So also, if you are using a Windows computer, this might look a bit strange if you're not familiar with Macs, but don't worry, it's the exact same for level editing and scripting, so don't worry about that. I have opened my folder for the custom story with all the files that you can use. So if you are missing any of these files, you can download them in the first video of this series, or maybe I'll just put a link in this video as well, but anyway. So we're going to use the extra English.lang a little bit because we're also going to add a name tag to the key, and we're going to use the map and scripting file, these two, for well, placing and scripting and stuff. So yeah, we can just start off. Let's start by just placing the things we need in the level. So you can just open your level editor. I have a shortcut here, but you should be able to know where to find it. So yeah, let's just open the file that I have, this level1.map. And alright, so here's a room that I have. So I have an entrance right here, and we're going to make a door there, and you're going to make a key unlock that door. So the first thing we're going to want to do, you just go to the entities and you find a door, whatever door you want. I'm going to use a mansion door though, just because it fits in here. Mansion, and let's just place it right here like that. And then afterwards we're going to select the door and we're going to give it a name because we're going to use it in scripting. So I'm going to call it let's call it just door. I do believe capitals matter, so be sure to be aware of that. And after you've named it, go to the entity tab right here, and near the bottom there is an option for locked, so you just check off locked, and now the door is locked, so you can't really go through it until it is unlocked, which is pretty much what the key is going to do. It's going to unlock it. And you can disable breakable yeah, if a monster is going to break down. But anyway, it doesn't really have anything to do with this. So yeah, we're done with the door, and now we're going to place a key. So go back to entities and drop down until you find item. And they're actually, you can use pretty much anything in here. You don't need to use a key. The key are just iconic. They're just you know what they are supposed to do, so you're supposed to use a key on a door or anything to unlock, so it's easy to know. But you can use like a hollow needle. You can use you can't really use a lantern because you can't use the item, but anything that you can pick up and double click in your inventory to load onto the cursor, you can use instead of a key. So an ore piece if you'd like, I don't know why, but pipe pieces, anything, not really oil, but you get the idea. But I'm gonna use a key though, because keys are cool. And let's place it in, well, let's place it on top of this table here. I'm just going to create on surface right here. Actually my window is a little small. I usually keep it big, but I resized it so it doesn't show all the options here. But okay, I'm gonna create on surface and just place the key on top of there, and afterwards go select it and give the key a name, just like the door. I'm gonna call it key, capital K. And yeah, alright, and then you can let's see. Need to select it again. Okay, you can go on the entity tab right here, and this is not actually for the door unlocking or whatever. This part is just if you want to give it a custom name. So actually I'm going to do it a little later, but we'll come back to that. Actually that's all we need to do in the level. So yeah, we're going to use that key on the door, and it should be able to work once we have scripted everything. So be sure to save the map before we proceed. Alright, so the next step is to just open the scripting file. Damn it, I should clear my throat, I don't know. Alright, so we have the scripting file here. I'm just going to place it on the side here. And these notes are, don't mind those. The script file is pretty much empty. It has only those three basic functions. So let's open the internet browser and go to this page that I should have linked in the description. For whatever reason it's not showing. It's yeah, I'll have it linked in the description. It's for the engine scripts, and this is very useful when you're scripting in Amnesia. It helps with a lot of parameters and stuff like that. So what you want to do on this page, you want to Command or Control F or whatever, and just find the command that you want to use. So for this, we want to use item. You search that up and you will find this void add use item callback. Just copy everything except the void part, all of this at the end, and paste it in start. I'm going to put tab in front so it looks a bit better. And yeah, so that's the function name, and then there are parameters that you gotta define. So the first one is a string. Remember, every string needs a double quotes to be wrapped inside, so just put quote quote, and this is the parent name. It explains on this side right here what everything needs to be. So oh yeah, this is not the parent name, this is something else. This is the internal name of the function, or the reference or callback. So it doesn't actually need a name. If you are going to be a bit more advanced, it will need a name. The only reason you want to give it a name is if you're going to remove this callback later or something. But if you go on the last one, which is a boolean, you put this one to true, then it will delete itself automatically once it's done executing. So but if you're going to use this next one, remove callback, you're going to need to put the same name in this as you put there. But otherwise you won't need a name there. So first one, this is another string, put double quotes, and inside there you put the name of the item that you want to use. So I named mine key, and that will be the key. Just name, make sure that this fits whatever you put on this key or item. It doesn't need to be key, but just item. And the next one, double quotes, is the entity you want to use it on. So it's going to be a callback when you use this key item on the door entity. So make sure this name matches the name of the entity you want to use it on, the door. And then there's the next thing. I already did that one, but this is another string, double quotes. This is the function. You can put whatever you want in here. This is totally customizable. So I'm gonna put use key on door. You can put anything you want in there, really. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that this matches exact what you are going to make now in a second. So what we're going to need to do now is to make this function that we defined. So I'm just going to delete all this, because since they're empty, they don't actually do anything. So just put them some space, just put it outside any other block, just anywhere. And you can look on this function. It says callback syntax, and then it says void my function, and then all these parameters. So what you want to do, you copy that line that is in bold, and you paste that in here. And remember to edit the my function or my func to whatever you used up in the previous callback. So I'm going to put use key on door. So just make sure that this matches this exact. And after that, you don't need to do anything with this. This just needs to be as it is, because it just defines that, make sure that this is a callback that they understand. Anyway, so after you put that line, you just put open and closing squiggly brackets as a block, and this is where the magic happens. So this is where the key is actually unlocked. So just go here and search up the other function that we're going to use, which is just search up swing door. I didn't even type it correctly. Swing door. And here we go. Doors. So these functions, the first one, set swing door locked. So what they mean by swing door is just a door that you can grab and open. Difference is a level door, which you cannot grab and open, you can just go through. So set swing door locked. It might sound like you're locking the door, but it sets the door locked. If you set it to false, it will be unlocked. So copy that whole line without the void and paste it in. Set swing door locked. So now define everything you need. Just first of all, double quotes, as this is the name of the door that is going to be unlocked. So just put door or whatever you put in the editor. I put door though. And the boolean locked, this is whether it's locked or not. So put true, that will lock the door. Put false, that will unlock the door. And boolean effects. So this is effects. It kind of, I guess the engine knows what you want to do. So if you put this to true, it will play the effects that you usually want to use on a door. But if you want to unlock the door in another way, like you just want it to be open at a random point, you usually don't want to use effects because that looks kind of strange perhaps. But if you're just using a key on a door to unlock it, you might want to use the effects unless you're using anything else. But just put true on this one, is simple enough. And then save the file and let's give it a test run. So here we are in the level, and we have the door right over here, and we have the key on the table here. So as you can see, the door is locked. You can't really go through it, but if you pick up this key, right now it says machine room key. That's just a default tag for this particular key that I used. If we're gonna change it, we gotta do that a little later. So anyway, it's still the key that you wanted. It's not really a machine room key, that's just a tag. So although yeah, actually there was nothing else I had to say. So yeah, let's just use this key on this door, and yeah, it didn't really play any sound effects, but we can add that onto it. But as you can see, the door is now open and you can go through it, and yeah. So if you open your inventory though, the key is still there, so there's a lot of things we still gotta do to make it refined, make it a bit better. But this, now the key works on the door and you can unlock it. But let's add some more details to it, because it's nice with details and to make your custom story as flawless as possible. And yeah, so now we're back at this scripting, and there's one thing I actually didn't mention, but instead of putting the actual entity again here, because we already defined it in this one, so if you want to make the code a little more flexible, you can put as entity right there. And basically what that does, it references to the entity that was used to call this function. So it references to whatever is inside here. So that's if you're going to use a lot of key unlocking functions for multiple keys in your level, you can just use one function for all of that, and this will reference to the different doors that you're using in every function. So you just need to add, like, let's say you add 3 of these and you have different names. They all call the same function, but the function is doing different things because it only references to the current entity being used to call it. If you get what I'm saying. Anyway, so I'm going to use this on the other functions that we're going to add inside this block to make this function a little better and detailed and stuff. So first of all, you want to go back here and let's see, play sound. You should find this, I skipped it apparently, play sound at entity. If you find this function, you can copy everything except the void again, and you can paste that in right here. And I'm gonna tab it up, and here we are. If you want to play an unlocking sound, you can add this. You don't need to, of course, but you might want to. So the first one is the same as the item callback. It's just the internal name of this function, so unless you're going to reference it later on, it doesn't need any name, so just keep it blank if you like. And then there's the file for the sound. So there are OGG sound files, but there are S&T files that reference the OGG file, so you got to use an S&T file. So the particular one, I believe, is unlock_door.snt. I might be wrong on that one, but if it doesn't work, then I'll look it up. But I think that's the one that is used. Anyway, string as entity. This is same as the door, so it's going to be played. The sound is going to be played at the entity that is currently being used to call the function. So we're just going to keep it as entity, and that will play it on the door. That is, yeah. And then there is the fade time, which is it says here anyway, time in seconds the sound needs to fade. So I believe if you keep this like 1 second, it will take 1 second to reach max volume, but since it's unlocking, it's quite short, just a small sound effect. You don't want anything on that, just put 0. You don't want a fade sound. You just, yeah, so it just played instantly. And then there's bool save sound. This one is a little more advanced, but just put it false. I'll explain what it means here. Pretty much if it is played, if it's a long file and it's like lasts for 10 seconds or something, and it's played and then it's suddenly stopped when it's reaching 6 seconds, and then it's going to be played again. If you have this to true, then it will play from where it was stopped at 6 seconds, but if you have it to false, it will play from the beginning again, so it just repeats. It doesn't matter in this particular sound, it's just played once and whatever, so just keep it false. This is more advanced for if you want different kind of sounds. Anyway, so now we have added the sound effect to the door, and now let's remove the item from your inventory once you've used the key. So remove item, and this one is really short, just copy this, or you might not even need to copy it, it's really easy to remember. Remove item, open and closing parentheses, well, not quote quote if you're going to do what I am doing, and you put as item, and this references to this, which references to this. So it pretty much, when the game is running, it will replace this as item with whatever is in the as item of the callback calling it. So at runtime it will replace with key, which is what you want. So the good way about doing it this way is that right now it doesn't have anything in here that actually makes this what do you say, it doesn't make this dependent of these two items. So if you change this one to, like, let's say you have key 2 and door 2, it's still calling the same one, and entity is referring to the key to door 2 instead of door 1, and so on. So it is very good to do it this way, but you don't need to. You could put this double quote and key inside here instead, if you prefer to do it that way. But if you maybe learned something new about this, I don't know. So now we have removed the item, we have played the sound, and we have unlocked the door, and that is pretty much what you want to do with this event. So let's add the final thing, and you go to the level editor. Actually, you can close off this scripting file because we're pretty much done with it, and go back to the level editor, select the key, if I can do that. Let's zoom in on it. Select the key and go to entity all the way to the bottom. This one is just for the name of it, so I'm gonna call it let's see, I don't know, what do you call it, key desk as for description. So remember to press enter when you type anything in here, or else it won't really save. Yeah, so this one doesn't have anything to do with anything of the function, it's just for the name, as I've said. So if you go back to your extra English lang file, open it up. I'm gonna put it on the side here. It looks like it has a lot of things in here. What do you want to do? You go down to if you don't already have this file, I recommend you download it, because it's as you can see, I put up a lot of these I don't know, sort of banner descriptions, I suppose. I just tried to make this file a little easier to read. So you go down to item descriptions, Basically what it says in here, that is opening a category called inventory, and it must be inventory, and then it has entry name, item name underscore, and then the name of the thing that you put right here. So in this case, key desk, and the one below it needs to be the exact same, key desk. So this is the name and this is the description. So these two are the same thing, except they show a little different. So if you don't understand this, then well, you could look closely at it and try to make sense of it, but I recommend you do download the file, because it already has some of these in, and then you can just select this, copy it, and enter and paste, and then you can put another item here. Alright, so I'm just gonna undo that and redo that because I don't do it. Okay. So if you look closely in between these two, where it's opening the entry and closing the entry right here, this is the actual text. So it's like a string, it's the actual text in the game. So this will be the name of the key. I'm just gonna call it, well, I could just use it as it is right now, a key. So let's name it a key. And below it is pretty much the exact same thing, except it's item description instead of item name. And this is, you'll only see this if you hover your mouse over this item in your inventory. And then you can add a little description to it. I'm just gonna put this small little text here. And be sure to save this file, and now let's run up the game again. Alright, back in the level. Here we have the key, the door I mean, locked again, key over here. And let's pick up the key. Picked up a key, as you can see. Open the inventory, hover over it, and it will say at the bottom, it's for unlocking a door. And it will say whatever you put in there. And now we shall use this key on the door again. And let's see if everything is as it should. You heard the sound effect, right? And the key is now gone from your inventory, and the door is unlocked. And that's pretty much all the effects that you normally want to add to a door when you're unlocking it. And yes, that's pretty much it for the tutorial. And thank you for watching. And yeah, if you have any trouble, feel free to ask. I reply to everything. And yes, that's it, I guess. If you like the tutorial, I recommend, no. I would appreciate a like. It motivates me to make more of these tutorials. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later, perhaps.